Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Let me share my screens here. Deep fake and AI fraud. Protecting your closings from video cloning scams. We were very excited to do this episode right around the Halloween time because we thought it was pretty, convenient, and it's kind of the Halloween theme that we've seen plenty of horror movies or science fiction movies where, people are being cloned and you don't realize like who's who and all that stuff. It's been, in the movies for many, many years. Well, now it's coming into the business and corporate, and it's one of the biggest tactics in the cyber wars that we are fighting now. And that's why we wanted to go ahead and start this off around the Halloween time and kind of really give everyone the best opportunity to understand how this work and then be able to defend it. Because you can't defend something if you don't understand it. You can't win the game if you don't know the rules. And the rules are constantly changing. And that's where most of it comes in as the official partner for the Suncoast Real Estate Association is to help teach these rules to everyone. Because right now the reality is that deep fakes exposure has increased dramatically, almost 50% over the last 2 years. 50% deep fakes scams. And AI professionals and IT professionals are saying that deep fakes is the number one priority for defense for the next 12 months to 18 months. It's the number one thing that we need to be preparing for and defending for. So I wanted to start off the video by showing you, a nice little clip that I thought was pretty exciting. So let's go ahead and go right into it.
One anime just dropped, and it's by far the best character animation and replacement AI model on the market. Take a look at this video that I made.
Friends, listen, what you're seeing right now is crazy.
We are crossing a line in human history where the boundary between reality and fiction is vanishing.
And this is not Hollywood billion-dollar high production studio. This is open source. This is from your computer, a click of a button, and most people will not be able to even tell the difference now. So be safe out there, question what you see, verify what you believe, and follow if you want to stay ahead of the curve.
This is definitely better than Runway Act 2, better than ByteDance, and better than any other open source model. In this video, I'll show you One Animate's capabilities, its strength, how to optimize for best results, tips, where to use it, and how to install it for free on your machine. One Animate is an open source model from Alibaba that can animate any character based on a performance video. It precisely replicates the performer's facial expressions and movements to generate highly realistic character videos, like Runway Act 2, but in my tests, it is better. We are familiar with the tech, however, when Animate does something no other model can do, it can replace characters in a video from one source image, preserving their expressions and movements, while also replacing the original lighting and color tone for seamless environmental integration.
Rick Sorkin? Excuse me, Mr. Sorkin, you are 5 minutes late. Is there a reason why I should let you in?
Look, I'm just trying to ditch the cops, okay? I don't really care if you let me in or not.
One Animate is built upon the WAN model and uses things like open pose, spatially aligned skeletons, and lighting LoRa's to produce the results that you see on the screen right now. It has two features. Number one is animate a character, meaning you have a source image that you want to bring to life, driven by a video that will direct the movement of this image, which we will refer to as photo animate. Very similar thing to what Runway Act 2 does. And we have number two, character replacement, where your source image is used to replace an existing character in a video. Now, before we explore those further, here's what One Animate is very good at. Expressive human animation. fictional character animation,
temporary constructs of a feeble human intellect trying desperately to justify an existence that is without meaning or purpose.
dynamic motion and camera, character replacement with seamless environmental integration,
What are you talking about? What? That's crazy.
consistent lighting, and color tone replication.
This is way better than Runway. What do you call that? Runway Act 2.
Here's a qualitative comparison between all the models that currently do the same thing. As you see, One Animate pretty much beats all of the other models when it comes to accuracy of the movement and expressions. I had early access to it, used it open.
All right, everyone. So that video is pretty crazy. I encourage anyone to go and check it out. We can send it to you because it goes into detail how this software is much better than the other softwares that exist to do this type of deep fakes and AI cloning. And so, AI and deep fakes, they're not just science fiction. They're being used now to commit real fraud. And according to the FBI, deepfakes and voice cloning has nearly doubled since 2022. And think about if you have that technology, hackers can easily clone and do whatever they want. And they were targeting huge corporations. The American Land Title Association, they report that saying, hey, imagine receiving a call from a familiar lender. You change the wiring instructions only to find out later that the entire exchange was fake. The voice, it was AI generated. This is coming from the association, So, Mostro, who are we? If you guys haven't followed us, you're new to the webinar for the first time. This series we're doing is because Mostro, we were built to defend and protect the small businesses. Right now, most of the top technology, enterprise technology that will help protect a small business is not available to a small business. Before we started Mostro, we interviewed and did research on our competitors. And our competitors, one of the first questions they ask is, how many users do you have? And I was like, how many users? Why does that matter? They're like, because if you have less than 30 users, we can't work with you. And I was like, oh, wow, 30 users? That's more like mid-level up to, higher types of companies. Most small businesses have maybe 3 to less than 10 employees. And I realized that if you're a business that has less than 30 users, you're not able to get the high quality protection because it's not available to you. So you're stuck having to deal with antivirus, basic, things that are not truly going to protect you. And it's definitely not going to protect you against deepfakes and all this technology that already exists. And that's when we decided we know we had to build was a premium best in breed tools with an elite team that's 24/7 monitoring all of our clients, but be able to bring the price down to make it affordable for a small business to properly be able to protect their business. And so my name is Dennis Patino. I'm the founder of Mostro Cybersecurity and Absolute Marketing. We were a Google partner firm. That company, we had it for 14 years, and we recently sold it to my best friend from high school. Why did we sell it? We used to help people grow their businesses with digital marketing, Google Ads, SEO, website automations, things, all that stuff. Well, over the last few years, a lot of my clients started getting hacked and ransomed. Imagine when they called me, this is obviously before I had most of the cybersecurity, they called me and asking me to help them as their trusted advisor. Because when you're helping somebody grow their business, you build a bond, a relationship, right? So they were calling me desperately asking me to help, and to know that I couldn't help them, that hurt me to the core, because I help these people grow their business. These are people that are in my where I lived, in my area, in my neighborhoods, and then just like that get wiped out, and to know that there was nothing I can do to help them, right? That's when I saw the writing on the wall. I said, hey, there's the good side of the internet and there's the dark side. and many small businesses don't have a clue about the dark side, and the hackers are just they're just taking advantage of the small businesses. And even if you wanted to protect your business, the top cybersecurity companies won't even talk to you. So you don't even have the ability to get the real protection. And that's when I was like, no, I got to get into this. My best friend wanted to get into marketing. I sold him the majority of my company, allowed me to pivot, jump headfirst, and create most total cybersecurity and compliance. Why? About, the stats show that 60% of businesses are more likely to have a car accident than a cyber attack, and of those businesses that you're likely to close within 6 months after a cyber attack. So that's when I was like, whoa, these are the stats. I didn't make these up. You can look these up. These are the stats that are going on right now as a small business that you could easily be wiped out. So that's why we decided to build this. So let's go into now as a realtor. And that's why we're here, is because we're part of the Suncoast Real Estate Association. And our goal was to focus all of the cybersecurity and the compliance and everything we do and help protect the real estate industry. Because all the other previous webinars we've done, the real estate industry, a lot of them are, they're not up to date with what's going on. So that's why we're putting these educational webinars to teach people. And here's a real live case of a Texas brokerage where they lost over $400,000 when a hacker cloned the voice of the managing broker and instructed a junior agent to approve a wire transfer. Just think about that poor junior agent thinking the boss is calling him saying, I need you to do this right now. Urgency, stop whatever you're doing. It's important. And you're thinking, I can't lose my job. It's the boss. He's calling me. I gotta do it. And then come to find out that it was AI cloned voice. That's scary. And when I was preparing for this, I started interviewing some agents and everything. And one of the things they asked me was like, how are people getting my voice to clone it? Right. And they don't realize that with AI and all this technology, you can get it from social media. We're constantly on social media, out with their friends, this, that, but also they're doing phone calls. Hackers, they prepare. It's not like they just do something and they hack you right now. No, they've been preparing and building a file, building a case of who they're going to go after and how and why and the whole thing. So a lot of times they call and say like, hey, we just want to confirm that your address is blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yes, that's my address, or no, or this, that. And they ask just simple questions. Hey, do you guys use Apple over there? Or are you guys using PC, Microsoft? Are you guys use, and then, they gather all these little bits and pieces and then they puzzle it together. And that's when they can use this against us. So some other real world cases. This one is one of the biggest ones that we've come across, where in Hong Kong, a firm was defrauded of $25 million via a deepfake in a video conference impersonating a senior executive. Just let that sink in. A video conference. That's where where this is going. It's that at first, the lowest level is getting your email spoofed, where somebody can impersonate your email. And I'm going to show you a quick tool that I encourage everyone to go to our website and check this out, right? But they can, if your email's hacked, then they can send out an email, and then you could easily fall for that. You're like, oh, okay, I fell for an email because it came from you and I thought it was you, so I fell for the email. Okay, fine. Then it got a little more advanced. Now, when you got the phone call, you're like, oh wow, this sounds exactly like who I think I'm talking to, but that wasn't a clone. Okay, but now it's gotten so advanced that I could be in a video conference similar to this, and you don't truly know that the person you're talking to is the person you think they are. That is like where this is going, and how somebody fell for that and was able to send $25 million. You can look up this case, and that's the reality. The Association of Realtors, scammers are using this all the time, not only to scam the agents, but fool the buyers and the sellers. One of the books that we talk about and that we shared, we have some ebooks. I just want to make sure that everyone goes and looks at that. I'm going to, I guess, take this time now to pull up that our ebooks. let me show you. When you go to, oops, right here, ebooks. You go onto our website, ebooks. Please come and read our ebooks. These are valuable information for free, right? The first one we made was this one right here, the price of ignorance. Right, we're all ignorant to this. This is new. We didn't know about how cybersecurity worked and compliance, and these are the top 10 cybersecurity mistakes that will bankrupt your business. This one, hacked at closing. This is for the title industries, and a lot of these deep fakes and all that stuff are targeting the titles because they can steal escrow funds. This is the newest one that we made for the real estate industry. You know, fines, fees, lawsuits. The cybersecurity wake up calls for realtors. Extremely great. And then we have a couple other ones about once I owned the marketing agency, I made one for marketing companies because as a marketing agency owner, I didn't know all the risks that we had access to, and it was just sitting there, and I was thanking God that we never got hacked, because if we did, we would have been wiped out. And then this one's for the dental industry, digital decay, the drill you didn't see coming. We're actually right now working on the one of the newest ones that is for the mortgage brokers. I'm just going to quickly show you just the 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 title of the book, Target on Your Back, Why Mortgage Brokers is Next, Why Your Mortgage Broker is Next. This is real world stuff that's happening right now, people. So I highly encourage you to, to read these. And before I continue now, so I'm showing you quickly my website. I want you guys to go onto the homepage, because leading into what I was talking about, where your email can be impersonated and spoofed. When you go to our website, the homepage is mostlycybersecurity.com. If you scroll down, these are all of our partners and stuff. These are some client testimonials, and encourage you to watch them and read and listen to the videos and stuff. But this part right here, these are real-time global cyber threats happening right now, real time. And then, as you see, these are all threats that are going on right now, and the softwares that are blocking and everything like this. This is right now live. So spend a little time on that. But this part right here, email security checkup. All you have to do is just type in the domain from your email, whatever, John at abcrealty.com, whatever that your website name is. You put that in here and you hit scan. It's going to cross-reference your information to see if your email can easily be spoofed or impersonated, which is an FTC fine regulation for non-compliance. I highly encourage you to go do this. This is free. You could do it right off our website. It doesn't cost you anything, and the information you're going to get is invaluable. So I highly encourage you guys to go back and to look at that. So getting back to to the website, and how deep fakes and all this stuff is being manipulated to transfer wire fraud and all kinds of things in real estate transactions. So give me a little water. I'm not going to go through all like how the technology works, but as we were watching that quick video, it's very easy. The guy was even saying, he's like, all you have to go is Alibaba and just it's the free version, and you just upload a video, upload a picture, and the whole thing will do it for you. It was like, oh my gosh. And that's how easy it is now. So even amateur hackers have that ability to be able to use that against us. And that's the scary part, is that you may be thinking, hey, as a business, how am I going to protect myself? How am I going to fall for this? If I saw those videos, there's a funny video that I won't, where is it at? Let me see on my computer. But there's a lady who fell for Brad Pitt. Here it is. Thinking that, look at this video. She thought, oops, wait a second, where am I at? Here it is. She thought that she was, that Brad Pitt was in the hospital. Where is it at? That Brad Pitt was in the hospital, and that he was, I'm not going to play the whole video. You guys can look it up. And that he was sending her videos saying, I'm in the hospital, I need money, all this stuff. And the lady's like, oh my gosh, it's Brad Pitt. He needs my help. She was married. She ended up sending him $850,000. $850,000, and then later determined it was a scam, that it was a deepfake. So just, this case is, it's funny, but it's really not, because imagine that happens to one of our loved ones, right? So that's what's at stake right now, people. um IT professionals are saying that this is the biggest thing that they're worried about, is this, and part of the reason that makes it so easy and people are falling is that everyone feels like they're so busy. I have so much going on. I remember when I was buying some properties, I was all excited to do the closing. It was like a little ritual where we would try to have the closing around like maybe 11 o'clock. So it would be done right around maybe 1, and we go have a great celebratory lunch and pop some champagne. And we were excited. Now people are pushing for virtual signings. I don't have time for that. Just send it over in a DocuSign. Let me sign it. Blah, blah, blah. I don't have time. There's mobile notaries, all these different things. And it's like, whoa, so the hackers realize this and they're using that against us. They're realizing that, hey, we can create urgency, we can create these different things, and people are going to fall for it. So there's some red flags that I just want you guys to, to be aware. And when we talk to some people, they're like, I would never fall for that. Okay, maybe you wouldn't fall for it. But what about your assistants? What about your secretaries? Junior people who are just starting and they don't have that experience like you do. So red flags are people just at the last minute changing instructions, or that urgency. We need to do this now. You got to act now, or anything. So these are all like red flags. More things that we've noticed in this is that, like, if it's a recognized phone number, I mean a recognized voice, but they're calling from a number that you never had saved, you didn't recognize, or like a platform like WhatsApp or Telegram or something like that, that should be a red flag. Or if the domain is something slightly off on it, or it's not spelled right, these are all red flags. You can easily recognize it. So that's some of the things, but here's what we were getting to. It's that now every meeting is now a new attack surface. Like we saw in those videos, how do you know who you're talking to, and the instructions you're receiving and vice versa is who they say they are? It's extremely tough. If you don't have enterprise level protection to understand and be able to scan and detect any of these deepfakes while you're in a virtual meeting, then you could easily be hacked. You could easily be wire fraud, identity theft, all these things that can happen. So that's one of the things that we at Mostro are able to bring to the table and make it extremely affordable for a realtor, a real estate office, to be able to have this technology to help protect themselves and their agents and other clients and everything of that nature. So that's something that we take very, very serious. So I'm just going to highlight quickly how this technology works, because it allows you to protect virtual meetings from any AI impersonations, right? What it does is that it's analyzing the video, audio, and any behavioral cues in real time to flag and notice if this is synthetic or not. So real time, it's going to alert and it's going to let you know, hey, something's off with Bob over here, or Mr. Steve. So it detects any abnormal communication behavior, and it uses different mathematical analysis, but it doesn't record or any transcriptions are stored. So it makes it extremely private, which is what we want. And so, we don't just see who's on a call, we verify it in real time. This is what the next level in modern day warfare that's happening right now into realtors and in cybersecurity. And we have that technology to be able to help us and protect us, and we make it affordable for a small business to be able to take advantage of that. So a little bit more. Here's the frameworks. This is what, as a realtor, what you guys need to start having in place. and you guys need to talk with your with your agents and everything. One is it's 4 layers, right? But the first layer is you need to have an AI layer. There's no way that you guys can honestly think that you guys are trained to be able to recognize, quickly when you're busy and you're occupied and multiple phones are ringing or emails and all this stuff to recognize what's a deep fake and what's not. It would just be, it's you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself. So you need the AI technology to detect all this stuff and helps you, right? It's 24/7, and it doesn't get exhausted, and it's there to protect you and your business. The second is the human layer. This is something you can control. As a brokerage, you need to have a policy which, verifies everything of how to do it. But more importantly, to know that you guys need to slow down. If something's off, if something's a weird, request, something doesn't sounds a little fishy, then you guys need to pause for at least 60 seconds and just sit back and analyze and be like, wait, something's off. And even if it's a phone call or if it's a virtual meeting, anything like that, hang up, and then call back. That right there will protect you guys and stops most fraud. Because if you call back and the same person answers and like, hey, what's up? Then okay, maybe I was. But if they don't, and chances are they won't, because they you're onto them, and so most hackers are like they're not willing to risk, keep continuing to press on something and risk getting caught. So they'd rather just move on to the next. They're like, okay, it's up. Let's just move on to the next. Who's next? Who's next? And there's plenty of victims that they can keep targeting, so they don't have to keep trying to go after somebody who's already like aware, right? So and then if something happens in an email, it's very important you report it. That way, the technology can start recognizing it and building a case and learning from what it was and help prevent it in the future, right? So that's one thing. Another layer is the process. It's you guys having like an AI communication policy saying if we need to change something or if there's approval, like there needs to be 2 people who authorize this. And we're going to call their cell phones that we have saved on our, in our phones. We're going to call dedicated numbers that we know, and everything. We're not going to reply to an email that we got or call the phone number that's on the email that the hacker could have changed. This is all part of having these policies and procedures in place. And last is the clients. We need to protect our clients, so we need to give them, proper instructions and rules in a sheet that they understand. Like these are the steps. This is everything. This is what's going to go on, and that you need to be aware of these things. And nobody's going to call you and change anything. If they do, you need to call me. You need, or something. Having all those policies in place. These are the 4 layers to properly, give yourself the best chance. So to end off now, your business, I'm sure, is smart, but is your cybersecurity? And that's what we're realizing, that as a small business, you don't know about these things. Nobody knows about these things. You don't know what you don't know. And that's why most of it is dedicated in education. That's why we're doing these webinars, these ebooks, podcasts, everything to properly teach and show, right? And we talk to people who are like, oh, I've never been hacked before, so I don't need to worry about that. And it's like, you've been very, very fortunate. The stats now show it's not if you get hacked, it's when you get hacked. And if you don't have everything in place, then you could easily be a sitting duck. So I wanted to quickly, talk about this penetration test. A penetration test is one of the most effective forms of an analysis that you can have on your business. It's highly recommended. To be compliant, you need to have this done at least once a year, right? So this test is valued at around $5,000. We're giving it complimentary right now to the people that are on this webinar, and to the Suncoast Real Estate Associations. Why? Because this is what's going to help us be able to find any vulnerabilities in your environment, in your computers, in your apps, and everything you guys are doing, your whole team. Maybe you are fantastic in your Fort Knox, but what about your team that you're back and forth sharing files and emails and all this stuff? And then if they're working from home, they're using, home computers, shared networks, they're working from Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, anything like that, and you guys are doing all this stuff and you don't know, then you're easily hacked. And if you don't know what you don't know, well, that's what this test does. It's valued at $5,000. We're giving it for free. I know that some person said, well, what's that 25% off? Well, after we do the penetration test and after you see, before that, we signed an NDA, with everybody, because the stuff that we talk about and we see is extremely, extremely delicate and it's private. So we sign an NDA, and it's compliant and it's on record, because we want you to feel comfortable sharing, and everything is the only way. We're like the doctors. You can't come to the doctor and say, oh, everything's fine, or you have to be transparent to be able to get help. And that's what we need, to have that transparency so we can truly help. Because if we don't know everything's going on, then how are we truly going to be able to give you the best, therapy, the best blueprint to help your business? So after we do the penetration test, if you choose that you want to work with us, which would be the smart thing to do, work with us, we have a special discount for the Suncoast Real Estate Association members, the STAR members, of 25% off moving forward, off of any of our cybersecurity programs or any of our compliance programs. Okay, so that is huge. And last, we want you to go ahead and book your free appointment. Here, if you take out your cell phone, scan the QR code, you can easily book an appointment with us. We are, here to help you and give you the best tools necessary to properly protect your business. So again, my name is Dennis Bettino. I'm the Chief Security Officer for Mosoro Cybersecurity Compliance. We're here in the Tampa area, and we have clients, all over the state of Florida, and continue to grow into the rest of the United States. So our whole team is U.S. based team. Our security team and our network operation team, most of them are here in Florida. And our goal is to continue to grow with you and become that trusted advisor for you to help you protect your business and babies. So we will continue to put these recordings on our YouTube channel, and we highly encourage you to make sure you're following our social medias. Go to our website. Oh, and before I forget, let me share with you the next events that we have coming up, to make sure you guys register and put them on your calendars. So this is the one we did today, but next week, AI compliance. That's a big, big issue, is that everybody's using AI, and if there's no guardrails, then our team who's using, AI and can easily, put us into some big risk through FTCs and clients and everything like that. So that's going to be a very, very big one. The same thing with vendor scams. Cyber warranty, cyber insurance, that's a big one. People think that, oh, I have a cyber insurance policy, so I'm good. And it's like, no, have you ever read your policy? Those policies are designed, written by lawyers for lawyers. The bold print sells it and the fine print takes it away. So if you don't truly know what you're paying for and you have a cyber breach and you call them, not only can they deny you, but they can turn around and sue you for fraud. So that is what we're going to be discussing. And then the last one to end the year off is, the checklist of all the cybersecurity and the forecast for next year, and how to properly position your company to be prepared and to be in a great position to start 2026 on the right foot. So I look forward to, talking to everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.